A very good morning, students. We will
Good
start the
morning.
session in another 5 minutes.
Morning, ma'am. Good morning. Good morning, ma'am.
Morning, ma'am.
Yes, good
Morning,
morning.
ma'am.
Wait for
Good
another
morning,
5
ma'am.
minutes. We
Good
will
morning,
start
ma'am.
the session.
Good morning. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning,
Good
ma'am.
morning, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
A very good morning to all the students. We are in the second day of our orientation program on communicative English. We will begin the day with the mother song.
Mother, oh mother, persevering through the storm, you are from the earth, where people look forward to the arrival of seasons of spring. That you honor, you live as the border of the century of humanity. That you honor, you live as the border of the century of humanity. Of the century of humanity. Of the century of humanity.
Thank you, girls. So I'm so happy to be with you on the second day of the orientation program, girls. So we will start our session now. So I'm so happy to be with you all, girls, today. So it's gonna be your orientation on communicative English. So on the first hand, I would like to ask you a simple question. How many of you like English?
I like English, ma'am.
Okay. Only
I
one
also
likes
like English, ma'am.
Like English.
I
Okay,
also
that's
like
good.
English, ma'am. I'm also
Superb,
like
superb,
English,
superb.
ma'am.
Very
I'm
good.
also like
So may
English.
I know who does not like English? May I know?
I also like English, ma'am.
Wow, people, you really love English, right? So I'm so happy about it. And I want to know people who are like away from English language and they have fear in talking. May I know them? You can share your views with me now. The one who's literally afraid of speaking in English. Mom, if I want to speak, I'm completely afraid. So is there any candidate like that? That's okay, fine. I can understand that you're willing to learn English. Yes. So I'm going to start my session with a very simple story so that you can understand who you are in life. Okay. There was a man in a garden and he was sitting there and seeing the nature. And there he saw a cocoon. Okay. Cocoon is nothing but the shelter of the butterfly. So it is struggling to come out of the cocoon. So it was struggling and struggling and struggling. And the man was watching it continuously and he felt that the butterfly could not come out of the cocoon. And so he went home and brought a pair of scissors. And with the pair of scissors, he helped the butterfly to come out. And he watched the butterfly, and the butterfly could not fly anymore. It was sitting on the leaves of the plants. And he was watching it for hours together, and the butterfly could not fly at all. And he was thinking, like, it will fly after some time, it will fly after some time. And he was watching the butterfly. The butterfly actually became very weak with the help of the scissors. And the wings were all damaged, and it was having a swollen body. So the butterfly will not be able to fly higher and higher. So, out of the story, what we learn is that when you're there in school, your parents will definitely protect you, right? As if you're there in the cocoon. And your teachers will also protect you, they help you, they guide you, they do all those things that you need. When you're entering college, you are a butterfly who's going to come out of the cocoon. Okay? So only when you try, when you put your body pressure to come out of the cocoon, you will be much stronger. So your college life is totally different. You will be learning a lot of new things. A lot of opportunities will be there on your way. The only thing that you have to do is come out of your comfort zone, try to attain them, and you can be like a butterfly who can fly high in the sky. And don't be like the butterfly who's trapped in the cocoon, not allowing itself to come out. Okay? So the ones who feel that English is a difficult language has to understand that you are a butterfly. Your constant push, your constant effort, your constant motivation will allow you to fly high in the sky, because college is a place where you have new experiences, new friends, new family members, and a lot of opportunities are there on the way. If you're very good in dance, there are opportunities for you. If you're very good in writing, there are opportunities for you. If you're very good in speaking, even opportunities are there for you. So, again and again, I am telling you that you have to come out of your comfort zone. Don't feel bad that you cannot do. You can definitely do well. So have this in mind. Okay. So with this beautiful story, I'm going to start my session. Okay. So what do we mean by communicative English? So what is communication on the first hand? Can you tell me what is communication? Yes. Have you heard of this word communication?
Yes,
Oh.
ma'am. It means talking to others.
Yes, very good. Very good. So this is what is like coming out of the cocoon. Yes, I give a big round of applause for you. Okay, you're coming out of the cocoon. Fine. When you get an opportunity, speak. So let me start. It is communication. Okay, the first slide is on communication. So communication is nothing but it is a process of sending and receiving messages. Okay, it is not with the mobile phone that we are talking about communication. Communication in real life is talking to a person. It can be your dad, it can be your mom, it can be your friend, it can be your teacher, it can be anybody in the universe you're talking to. So when we talk to a person, we naturally want that person to give an answer. Will you feel happy if nobody is giving you an answer? And if you keep talking for hours together without any response, will you be happy? Definitely no. We actually expect a response, right? So communication is nothing but the process of sending a message and the process of receiving a message through verbal and non-verbal means. Okay, either you can send a message with words or through gestures. Gestures are nothing but body language. Okay, so in two ways you can communicate. One is verbal with words, another is non-verbal with body language. Your body is very important in communicating. So here you have the image. So here in the image, the girl is saying, your food smells delicious. Can you see the girl telling that your food smells delicious?
No, ma'am, we cannot see it, ma'am.
You can't see.
Yeah, ma'am, I cannot see, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Now let me explain it. Okay. So a girl in the image is saying that your food smells delicious. It is a message. Okay. And the one who is sending the message is a girl and she is a sender. Fine. And she is sending a message to a boy. Okay. To a boy who is a receiver. And the boy says thanks. And the boy says thanks, which is feedback. And it is a point of communication. And it happens there. Okay, the communication cannot happen only with the sender. The communication will happen with the sender and the receiver. The communication will happen with the... Yes, tell me, the communication will happen with the sender and the
Sender and the receiver.
Okay, so when the receiver receives the message, he gives a feedback. For example, if I say good morning, what you people will tell me?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Tell me good morning, right? Yes. I'm a sender, okay? I'm saying good morning to you people and the message is good morning. And you people are all receivers. And what you're doing, you're telling me good morning in response. So this is, you people are all receivers and the message that you give to me is feedback. Okay? Any communication comes to an end with a feedback. Any communication comes to an end with a feedback.
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 Okay. Now, do you understand what is communication?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So let's see the communication process. How does it work? So when communication is very important, okay, you can either communicate with words or you can either communicate with body language. Now, for example, tell me if you're bored in the class, it's a 4th hour class for you in the school, and you know well that you had your tummy full. And how do you communicate the class to your friend? How do you say? Yes? Can anyone tell me? In the 4th hour or 5th hour after your lunch break, if you're completely tired and your teacher is there in the class, how do you give a response to your friend? Will you say that the class is boring openly? You will use body language, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
La-
ma'am.
what is the body language you will use? You will keep your hands in the chin and you will put it down, no? Or else you'll keep a hand over your neck and show a piece that it is too boring. Or else you will put your fingers in the ear and say that same blood. So we usually communicate with words as well as with the body language. Okay. So body language is very important in communication. Yes. Girls, can you see the PPT? Can you see the image?
No,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Yeah, just a minute.
No, ma'am.
Just a minute. You will definitely watch.
No, ma'am.
Girls, can you see the PPT now? The image?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Thank you. Done.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Thank you so much. Done.
Yes, ma'am. How can? Yes,
Yeah. It's all
Yes,
about
ma'am.
the communication process, right? We are talking about the communication process. So it happens between the sender and the
How
receiver.
the communication
Okay?
process works.
You can see the blue color arrow mark thing, no? So
Yes, ma'am.
you are the sender.
Yes,
If you
ma'am.
are talking to your
Yes,
friend,
ma'am.
okay, if you are talking to your friend, you are the sender. You will be typing hi message, right? So hi is a message that you are encoding. And your hi, good morning message will be received by your another friend. And what she will give in response? And she'll say, hi, happy to see you. So that is the feedback. So a communication is a never ending process. Okay, it does not come to an end without any response. Only with feedback, the communication process gets to an end. Okay, yes, we have a lot of communication types. Okay, like literally people are worried about speaking in English. Without even speaking in English, you can communicate, you can share your ideas, you can give them informations. Fine. So on your friend's birthday, what do you do? On your friend's birthday, can you tell me what do you do?
We'll wish him happy birthday.
Wish her happy birthday, right? You do it through call or through a greeting card. How do you do it? How do you wish your friend? Through the phone or through the greeting card?
Or must.
Some people usually call the friend and tell happy birthday, right? So this is verbal communication. If you people call your friend and tell wish you many more happy returns of the day, it is a verbal communication. Okay? Verbal communication is nothing but using words to communicate. You will definitely use words to communicate, right? So it happens between two people. Verbal communication happens between two people. It can be your mom and you, it can be your father and you, it can be your brother and you. Okay? Can anyone tell me what is a conversation that you had with your mother in the morning? Yes? Anyone would like to give me an example for verbal communication? Open up. Open up. Do you people have a conversation with your mother in the morning? Did you talk to your mother in the morning?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, who
Yes, ma'am.
spoke? Yes,
Yes,
that
ma'am.
one
Yes,
person can
ma'am.
tell me what she spoke.
Yes, ma'am.
What is the breakfast?
What you prepared for breakfast. What did your mom say for that?
I prepare idli.
Okay, she told you that she prepared idli. So it's a verbal communication. Okay, it's an example of verbal communication. When you ask your mother what is there for breakfast, and she gives an answer that it is idli, and there it is verbal communication. Okay, and moving to the second type of communication, which is written communication. Sometimes when we don't want to speak in words, we write in words, right? Where do you do the written communication? In the examination. You can't speak in the examination, so you write the answers in the paper. So it is an example of written communication. On your friend's birthday, you go to a shop and get a greeting card, write happy birthday wishes on the greeting card, and send it to your friend. It is a written communication. And you would have fought with your friend, and you really miss her very badly. Okay, you really miss her, and you write a letter asking for sorry. You apologize, right? You'll say that I'm extremely sorry for what happened. Hereafter, I'll be so good to you. Please talk to me. So, this will be the content you will be writing to your friend. So, it is a written communication. When you don't speak in words and write in words, it is written communication. Okay, how many of you have the habit of writing diaries and writing letters to your friends?
I have, ma'am.
Okay, very good. Superb, superb. Very good number
I
has
have.
this. Okay, yeah. I appreciate all of you for going with the written communication. That's good and fine. So non-verbal communication. And you can see the image, no? The girl who's there in the image and her mouth is being crossed, no? With a red mark. Which means she is not allowed to speak. Non-verbal. No words. Without words, if you communicate. Without words, if you communicate using only your body, it is non-verbal communication. Okay? So for example, like if your friend has achieved some success in her life, maybe she has secured a very good percentage in a 12th standard. What is the symbol that you will show her? You're in a distance. Imagine that you're in the school campus, you're in a distant area, and your friend is quite away, and you wanted to convey your regards, you wanted to convey your wishes. Using what body language you will wish her?
I will
Thumb
say
up.
that
Thumbs up.
congrats.
Thumbs up. Wow,
Thumbs up.
superb. So using
Thumbs up.
thumbs up, we'll say success, right?
Congrats.
Thumbs up is for success. So when your friend has got a very good mark in a 12th standard, you show your thumbs up to say that you're wishing her and you're happy for her. So there are many body languages we have. When someone is crossing the leg, okay, crossing the leg in the classroom, what is the idea that you get out of her? Yes? If someone is like crossing the leg in the class before a teacher, what is the image or what is the idea you get out of it?
It's wrong.
It's actually wrong. Like we are taught that it is wrong.
Disrespect.
So we say that she is showing attitude, right? So every part of a body is involved in communicating. When it is a failure, we put a thumbs down, right? If your friend has got a very low mark and she has failed in her examination, how do you show it? Using the thumbs down. For for boring activity, what do you do? What is the body language you show in order to show that you're boring and you're like in a bored situation? What do you do? You're there in a boring situation. How do you show your response without
Facial
using words?
expression.
Facial expression.
First will be
Yes.
straight.
Yes. You'll put your heads down as if you're not interested. Good. Okay. The next is mass communication. Mass. You can understand this communication, particularly with the word mass. What is mass?
Group.
Group. Yes. When it is a lot of people, okay, more than 100 people or like more than unlimited people are there, like unlimited in a sense, uncountable numbers are there. You can call it as mass communication. Okay, mass communication involves one person speaking and 100 people listening. Okay, and when the one person is speaking, he should ensure that he should be clear and he should attract the audience. Fine. Have you heard about mass communication? Can you tell me? Is anyone aware of mass communication?
Media, ma'am.
Media, good. Any other thing?
Press meeting.
Yeah, press meet. The chief minister will speak and others will listen. We will sit at home and we will listen. Then, no, it will have a wider range of
Programs,
people.
ma'am.
Okay, mass communication will have a wider range of people, and you can take example of this political meetings. Right, the leader will be speaking and others will be quietly listening to the leader. So it's an example of mass communication. Fine. When wider range of audience, when a lot of people is involved in listening, it is mass communication. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The next is visual communication. Now we are very much acquainted with this visual communication, right? You people are very much closer with mobile phone. You talk to your family members or not, you're all the time with the mobile phone, TV, tab, all these gadgets, right? You talk
Yes,
with
ma'am.
the characters in the screen is talking to you, and you're not going to respond, right? The characters in the screen will be talking to us and we will not respond. So that is visual communication. Anything that is displayed on the screen and that is being communicated to us is visual communication. Okay, so now we had this Coromandel crash, right? The train crash. How many of you are aware of this recent news?
Yeah, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Coromandel train has had a crash, no? Last 15
Yes,
days
ma'am.
back.
Carelessness, ma'am.
Lot of people lost.
Yeah. Now, how many of you went there to visualize what happened? How many of you went to the spot or like got to know from the people from the spot what happened? None of us. None of us got to know about what happened from the spot, but we got to know about what happened through a visual medium, right? Through news channels, through YouTube channels, we got to know that a train accident occurred and these many deaths were there. So it is visual communication. Okay. Your web series can also be there in visual communication. The news can be there in visual communication. The thing about visual communication is that it will speak to us, but we will not speak to it. Okay, there is she's my friend and she's there in my group. So group is more than one or two person being together. And if they stay together, chat together, and convey some ideas or regards or information, it is a group communication. In case if your teacher is giving you an assignment and she is asking you to work in five, so five people together should work. It is a group thing. What you five people will do? You will sit together and you will sort what to do in the assignment. Okay, five people will contribute towards the assignment. So it is group communication. You will all sit together, you will discuss what to include, what not to be included. So that is group communication. Fine. I hope you're all aware of this group communication and involved in this group communication, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes,
Groups are always there. Group is not a bad thing. It is actually a good thing where multiple people will gather together, pour in their ideas, put in their ideas, informations, and they'll feel happy about it. So that is group communication. And then it is feedback communication. Girls, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
So the next is,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, good. So the next is feedback communication. Okay, one person will be speaking in a public and you will be hearing, and finally you will give a response. Ma'am, it was a good thing. Ma'am, it was not good. So the feedback should not be like always good, always bad. It can be the combination of good and bad. If you feel that something is bad with the presentation, you can tell them. If you feel that something is good with the presentation, you can tell them. If someone is talking, let us take example of your friend taking care of the entire class. Might be she is the class leader. And at the end of the year, your class teacher will give a feedback on your friend for being a good class representative, good leader, right? That's a feedback communication. We will share our ideas, we will share our opinion, response, advice in the feedback communication. You will give an advice. So you would have seen a person doing a science project, might be your brother doing a science project, and you would have observed it completely. And then you'll give a feedback. See, brother, this part is not nice, change it. It's your advice, it's your opinion. You're asking your brother to change the color of the thing. So it's a feedback communication. Okay, whenever a communication has to end, it has to be ended only with the feedback. Okay, so the feedback communication is very important because you need to remember one thing here. You cannot interrupt the process of speaking while giving a feedback. You will be given a space, then you can take time to give a feedback. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So, how many types we saw now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, how many types we saw now? Can you tell me the number of?
Seven types.
Wow, wow,
Seven
good,
types.
very good.
Seven types.
Seven types.
Superb, superb.
Seven types.
Seven types.
Yes,
Seven types of communication.
fine, fine. So we are moving to the next slide, that is communication skill. So whenever we talk about communication, speaking, communication is nothing but speaking. Speaking in a sense, conveying your ideas and thoughts to the other person. So communication skill is of LSRW. So should always remember this LSRW. Okay. L for listening, S for speaking, R for reading, and W for writing. What are the four communication skills? What are the four communication
Listening,
skills?
speaking,
Listening,
reading,
writing.
writing.
Fantastic, fantastic answer. So let us see in a day to what percentage we listen, to what percentage we speak, to what percentage we read and write. So in a day, we listen for 45%. Out of 100, 45% we listen. Either we listen to the songs or we listen to the news channels, or we listen to the mother's advice or to the dad's advice or to the teacher's advice, or you will be listening to my lecture. No, you will be listening from 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock. So half of your day, you're going to listen. 45% you're going to listen. So out of listening, what we gain? We learn new words. What we learn out of listening? We learn new words. We learn the grammar. We definitely learn the grammar. Okay. So listening and speaking are quite important. Quite important to prove ourselves. So speaking. So how many of you speak in English at home?
I speak with my
Wow.
Sometimes I speak, ma'am.
Sometimes. So hereafter, that sometimes has to become all time. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, speaking. So in a day, we do 30% speaking, not only in English but also in mother tongue. If your mother tongue is Tamil, 30% you speak. If your mother tongue is Telugu, you speak for 30%, right? So speaking happens for 30% in a day. So naturally less than listening, right? So what you will speak? what mom prepared, what is available for lunch, what is available for dinner, how was the day. You'll speak like that only, no? Basic things will speak, right? So speaking happens in a day for 30%. Only when you listen, you can speak. If you really want to master in English, be fluent in English, competent in English, be a master, you should listen to English videos and audios and listen to the English lectures, English things, and then try speaking, imitate. Okay, after listening, what you should do? Imitate. Imitate is nothing but speak like them. If I use any new word and you are like learned it, you have learned it, try to use it in a day. Okay. Listening does not mean that you listen and store it in your brain. Listening has a parallel with speaking. When you listen, you have to speak. So when you are speaking, just remember that you're going to use the new words that you learned, the pronunciation, and everything can be used. Okay, speaking happens for 30%. For how many percent speaking happens?
40%.
30.
30%.
30%, ma'am.
30%.
Yes. So listening and speaking are all quite connected. Only when you listen, you can speak. When you speak, you can listen. So these are two similar things. One cannot stay without the other. So listening helps you in speaking. Speaking in English helps you in listening in English. Okay? Yes. So the 16% that we do is reading. Okay, the 16% that we do is reading. Either we read captions in the Instagram or we read feedbacks in the Instagram or WhatsApp status and the caption. You read newspaper, headlines in the TV. So reading happens for 16%. If you are a student and if you're coming to the class, definitely you will do 16% reading. Okay, you will read your subject matter while going home in a bus. You will see a shop and you will read the name of the shop. Okay, reading happens. If you're there in a petrol bunk and you'll see to that, what is the name of the petrol bunk? So reading. Okay, it is all about reading. Reading happens everywhere. You can't say that, ma'am, I have to take only newspaper, sit and read. No. Wherever you go, you will read at least a word or a sentence or a paragraph. So reading happens in a day for 16%. So 16% we do reading. Either you can read a newspaper or get your brother's book and read. Or when you come to the college regularly, you will read your content material, okay, your subject material, and you can read the name of the shop. So everything, okay. If they give you any pamphlet, you'll not throw it away. You'll just read, to get to know what offer is being provided. So reading happens everywhere. Okay, even in the smallest thing, the reading happens. You go to a bakery. Will you purchase things just like that? You will see to that what is the name of the cake, what is the name of the chips. Without looking for the name, will you buy anything?
No, ma'am.
No.
No,
If
ma'am.
it is custard cake, we'll check out
No, ma'am.
the spelling and then buy it. If you see any new item in the shop, you'll check out with the name and then buy it, right? So that is also
Yes, ma'am.
reading. Okay, reading can happen with words, it can happen with sentences, it can happen with paragraphs. Okay, yes, the next thing that we do is writing. So 9% alone we write. I don't know how many of you are writing at home in the holidays, right? Writing happens only 9%. If your class teacher is giving you an assignment, you go home and write. Apart from that, you don't write anything. So writing happens at the minimum level. When compared to the other skills, we give less time to writing. We give less time to writing. Okay? So only 9% we write. 9%. Can you check out with the other percentage? Listening 45, speaking 30, reading 60, and writing only 9. How can you boost up your writing skill? You can boost up your writing skill by writing a letter to your friend or a diary. You can have the habit of diary writing. You can take a diary, okay? And then whatever happens in a day, if something interesting or something boring or something has hurt you, you can write it down in a diary. When you write it down, you are naturally learning the language. Okay, when you're writing anything in the diary or on a paper, you're learning a language. You're learning the word and the spelling. You're learning the sentence structure. You're also learning everything. Okay, so communication skill is of four. One is listening, another one speaking,
Speaking, writing,
the third
and writing.
Reading,
wow,
writing.
Reading,
super,
Reading.
listening, speaking, writing.
Writing.
fine. I want one person to tell me the percentages and the skills. Only one person. Yes,
Listening 45%,
good.
speaking 30%, reading
Yes.
16%, writing 9%.
Now, the question is how many of you don't do anything at home regarding this LSRW? Yes, tell me. How many of you don't do anything regarding this? Now, you will not open up, right? That's okay. That's fine. Okay, how many of you practice all these four things?
Ma'am, I will practice, ma'am.
Okay,
Ma'am, I
super.
will practice.
Super, very good. So I want every one of you to practice it from today onwards. Okay? You can listen to English music,
Okay,
you
ma'am.
can listen to
Okay, ma'am.
podcast,
Okay, ma'am.
okay? And you can speak
Okay,
to your
ma'am.
friends
Okay,
and you can
ma'am.
even text your friends in English.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay?
Okay,
Yes, super.
ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, good. So you can text your friends in English, that is also speaking. Okay. You can call your friend and talk what happened in the college in English. Okay. You can get novels, you can get short stories and read them. It will give you pleasure and it will give you knowledge. You can even write. Okay, what happens in your day? Okay, what happened in your day or what is happening in your day can be documented. You can write it down on a diary. After some days, if you take up the same paper and read it, you'll either smile or you'll cry. Okay. So that feeling will always be there with the writing. Yes. So let's move with the next slide. So the next slide is on how to improve communication skill. It is quite very simple to learn English language. People are like threatened. Okay, naturally people have fear. If I speak in English language, will it be good? If I speak in English language, will it be of grammar? If I speak in English language, will people appreciate me? So this is all the question every one of us will have. If I speak in English, what will happen? If I speak in English, what will happen? See, English is a language like Tamil. English is a language like Malayalam. English is a language like Telugu, like other languages. Okay? It is not difficult for us to learn Tamil. Is it difficult for us to speak in Tamil? தமிழ் மொழியில
No,
பேசுறது
ma'am.
கஷ்டமா இருக்கா?
No,
No.
ma'am.
No,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am.
We feel much
No,
confident.
ma'am.
We feel much confident to speak in Tamil or to speak in mother language. It's because we are doing it every day, right? We are practicing it. Practice makes a man perfect. Yes, of course. Practice makes a man perfect. That's why we are speaking in Tamil without even making any mistake. The same thing has to be done with English language, right? English is not a difficult language. Do not have fear of that language. It is so simple to learn. The thing is, we don't care about it. We don't even care about it. So, the first thing that you need to improve in communication skill is clear. So, when you're speaking to someone, make sure that you're giving a very clear idea. Do not give them multiple topics or multiple ideas in 1 minute. Okay, if you're going to talk about 1 minute, very clearly speak. If someone is asking you, what is your name? Your answer should be, I'm so and so. You should not say that, I was born in a family, my family has 4 members. No, it's not a clear answer. In order to improve your communication skill, you should be very clear. Clear in a sense, what is asked, you should give answer up to it. Okay, if they ask you, what is your name? You should say that I am, okay, Sangeeta, or I am Abhinaya, like that. Okay, so you should be very clear. The second C of improving your communication skill is concise. So, concise is being very short and simple. Concise is short and simple. You need not elaborate and elaborate and elaborate. People will lose interest, no? Yes or no? If you keep talking and talking and talking, people will lose interest. So if you're asked to talk for 5 minutes, make sure that it is going to be simple and short. You're not going to take their time. Okay? So second C is concise, which means short and simple. You're going to make it short and simple. So you can have an example here. Your mother is asking you, what are you doing? Will you say that, Amma, you gave me a work and I'm doing that, I'll complete that in 5 minutes and I'll come there? No. You will be very concise in giving your answer to your mom, right? You'll say, I'm doing the cleaning work. So see to the conciseness. Okay, make it short and simple. And the next thing is concrete. Concrete. Concrete is nothing but specific. What is asked for, give an answer. Don't give irrelevant answers. Okay. So concrete is specific and vivid, clear. Concrete is again to deal with clear. Concrete is specific. If someone is asking you how many legs do a human being have, your answer should be concrete. What will be your answer? How many legs do a human being have?
Two.
Two. So that's concrete. You're specific. You're specific in giving an answer. You're not saying that the two hands are there and two legs are there, 2 ears are there. You're very clear about giving an answer that it is two. Right? That is concrete. And the next C in improving your communication skill is correct. Okay? Accurate thoughts and words. Correct. If they ask you what is the color of the carrot, you'll say that it is orange. The correct answer. You cannot say that when I went to Ooty, I saw a carrot which was pink in color. Will people accept it? No, definitely they won't accept.
No, ma'am.
So they will always request you to give a correct answer. Okay, correct answer. If they ask you what is the color of orange, what will be your answer?
It's orange.
It's orange, right? So that will be the correct answer. So always make sure that when you're trying to communicate, you have to communicate in a correct way. And the next C, the fifth C of communication skill, improving the communication skill is complete. Okay? It has to be complete. It has to be complete. You cannot give it a pause and go away. Okay? When you're talking to a teacher or to a lawyer or to any higher professionals, make sure that you're completing the statement. Okay? You cannot escape without completing it. A very good communication can happen when you're completing it. So, mudivu, we call it as like mudivu, right? Murumai. In Tamil, we call it as murumai. So, you have to make sure that when you're talking to a person, you're going to give a complete idea, a full idea. Okay. And the sixth C of improving communication skill is courteous. You are of knowledge or not, it is not a matter to us. You're good or bad, it does not matter to us. You should always be respectful. Okay, you should always be respectful. So courteous means maryade. Okay, you should always respect people. Never mind the baby is 2 years. Never mind your mother is 50 years. You should respect them. Okay, even if you see a stranger on the street, respect them. When you talk to them, respect them. Okay, don't show any differences. Don't ever show differences. The best part of being an educated person is being courteous. So always respect people. Okay, don't think that she is like sweeping the floor in a college, so I should not respect her. You should respect everyone equally. Okay, you should respect them. Respect is mandatory for a human being, that too for a very good human being. Okay, in order to improve your communication skill, you should be courteous. Okay, courteous is should respect everyone. Okay, should speak in the same way, should not raise your voice at any cost. Okay, even if you're angry, even if you're agitated, do not raise your voice. Always stay humble. Okay, and the seventh C is considerate. Okay. Yes. Seventh C is considerate. So this considerate is nothing but behave as if you like everyone or like everyone. So this is considerate. Okay. You should have care and concern for others. You should definitely care others and have concern for others. Suppose if you are a speaker, okay, if you are a speaker and you are holding a meeting for 1 hour, you should consider the emotion of the people who are attending it. As if you know it, you should not take it for hours together. Give them some time to relax. Okay? Understand the feeling. Understand what is running in their brain. Okay? As we are educated, we are not supposed to arrest them with our time. Okay? So the seventh C is considerate. You should have care and concern. So this care and concern can be developed with small stories or humorous ones, some comic elements. When you say some comedy, they'll laugh and at least they relax and then they'll concentrate. Okay? You're clear with this 7C?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. So one person can tell me the 7Cs. Anyone can tell me the 7Cs.
Clear,
Good.
clear, concise, concrete,
Into the
correct,
pronunciation. It is clear.
concise, concrete, correct,
Yes.
complete, courteous, and considerate.
Courteous. It is not courteous. It is courteous.
And considerate.
Considerate. Yes. Very good. Superb. You can all give a big round of applause for her. You can all clap. Superb. Superb. Very good. Yes. Moving to the next slide. It is listening. Okay. Now tell me how many of you listen and to what things you listen.
Watching news.
Yes, tell me how many of you will listen and to what things you will listen.
Talking to me, I love listening.
That's good. When someone is talking, then when do you listen?
And
Listening
news
to-
is
Okay.
when ma'am is
To
taking
music.
class, we want to listen.
Yes. You're now
News.
listening, right?
Yes,
Are you
ma'am.
not listening
Yes,
now?
ma'am.
Yes.
We are
What
listening,
kind of
ma'am.
listening that you're doing? Yes, everyone who are there in the class is now listening, right? Listening is we listen to the words, the pronunciation, and what they are telling, the matter, the content. Okay. So listening is an important skill. We saw now it takes the higher percentage. How much it takes listening skill? How much percentage does it take listening skill? 40. Superb. So
45.
when your mother, when someone is when someone is coming to your house and speaking, you listen to the music, right? When you're there in the class, you listen to the teacher. So maximum we listen. Okay, listening is of two types. One is passive listening and another one is active listening. So let me give you examples in order to make sure that you're clear with passive listening and active listening. Okay. So passive listening. Imagine that you're traveling in a bus. Okay, you're traveling in a bus. As you're bored, you're listening to songs. You're plugged in your earphones and you're listening to songs. And the bus is highly crowded. There are multiple characters in the bus. The conductor will be speaking, the lady in the bus will be speaking, and they will be fighting, they'll be pushing, they'll be doing all sorts of things. While traveling in the bus, what do? You listen to the music, and when the conductor is speaking, you also listen to that person. When the aunt is fighting, you also listen to that aunt. When they are like using words, you're listening, right? You're doing multiple listening. So that is passive listening. Just like that, you listen, not for storing in your brain. Are you going to store the words of the conductor in your brain?
No, ma'am.
No, definitely no. We just see
ma'am.
what the conductor is saying and stay with the music, right? We see what the aunt is telling and then keep calm. So that is passive listening to hear. We are not going to take it to our brain. Okay, when it is passive listening, we are not going to take it to our brain. The brain is not ready to store our things. While in active listening, what is happening in the class is an example. You're actively listening, no? You're not watching TV and listening to the class.
No, ma'am. We are
You're
listening.
only listening to the class, right? You're only listening to the class, right? Are you watching TV and listening to the class?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
If you're doing so, it is passive listening. Well and good that you're doing active listening now. Yes, active listening is listening to understand. Okay, listening to understand. You take it to your brain, store it in your brain, think about it later. So it is active listening. Listening to a class is the best example for active listening. Or else, let me give you another example. You're going to a new place. Okay, for the first time, you're going to come to Soka Ikeda College. You want to know the route to reach the college. What listening you will do? You will do active listening, right? You will go to people who are there in the bus stop or in the tea shop. You will ask them, give me the direction to reach Soka Ikeda College. So naturally, you will actively listen. Take right, take left. There will be a petrol bunk, and parallel to the petrol bunk, there will be a road. Go on the road, and there will be the college. So you are actively listening to the right, left word, parallel road. Active listening is listening to understand and store in your brain. Okay. Active listening is very important. Fine. So, how many types of listening do we have?
Two types, ma'am.
Two
Types
types.
of
Two types.
One
Two
is
types.
active
Two
listening.
types, ma'am.
Yes, very good. One is active listening, another one is passive listening. For passive listening, I have given you an example of traveling in a train or a bus. If you travel in a bus, you listen to the music, you listen to the conductor, you listen to the aunt fighting, right? Students giggling. When you're doing an active listening, you concentrate. When you're doing active listening, you're concentrating.
Concept.
Okay. Yes. So let's see the 10 steps to develop active listening skill. How to develop
Yes,
active
ma'am.
listening skill? That is very important, right? Face the speaker and maintain eye contact. Okay, if it is one to one or one to many, if you are listening, make sure that you're going to have a eye contact with the speaker. Okay, eye contact is looking at the eyes of the speaker. When you move your eyes from the speaker, it is very much understood that you're distracted. Okay, so make sure that you're going to maintain an eye contact with the speaker. So that is the first step. The second one is be attentive but relaxed. Don't be distracted by your own thoughts. Okay. You should be attentive. You should not have second thoughts. Sitting in the classroom, you should not think what mother will be preparing for lunch. Where will I be going today evening, or what I will have for dinner. Should not have second thoughts. When you're listening, listen carefully. Be attentive. Don't be carried away by your second thoughts or your own thoughts. Okay. So always concentrate on what the speaker is saying. And you have to be attentive and relax. Okay. Don't be of panic. Don't have fear in your heart and brain. Okay. So be attentive. That is the second step involved in active listening. And the third is keep an open mind. Listen without judging the other person. If you're listening to a person, okay, for example, recently the actor Vijay gave a address, no, and he appreciated the girl who got 600 out of 612 standard. Did you watch that address?
Yes, ma'am. I watch it, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes,
When
ma'am.
he
Yes,
spoke,
ma'am.
when the actor Vijay spoke, did you listen to him?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you listen without judging the person? Oh God, this man is going to talk rubbish like this only for us together. Did you have any second thought like that? No.
No,
No,
ma'am.
We
ma'am.
were concentrating on what
No,
he was
ma'am.
talking, right? We were opening our
Yes.
ears and then we were opening our eyes to know what he is speaking because every other word matters to us. So when not only the actor, anybody who is talking to you, you should keep in mind that you're going to listen with open mind. You're not going to judge them. Oh, this lady looks like this and she's not going to talk beautifully. Do not create a image in your mind about the person who's speaking. Okay, don't be judgmental when the person is speaking. Let them complete. Okay, let them complete. Only when they complete, you'll get to know what they are saying. And the fourth one is try to picture what the speaker is saying. Now, when we are listening, if you can't try to at least understand it with words, also we can arrange the words and try to picture. In case a speaker is talking any social issue. You know the word corruption, you will know the words associated with corruption, and you will understand what is being told, right? So listen to the words and try to picture what the speaker is saying. If you can't understand the complete sentence, okay? So I'm talking about the beginners who cannot understand in coherence. So the person who cannot understand in coherence, in connectivity, can listen to the word and come to a conclusion of what is being told. Okay. Don't interrupt and don't impose your solution. Allow the speaker to talk. Okay. You're only listening. So you should only listen. Don't interrupt. Don't distract them. Okay. Don't raise your hand all the time saying that you have a doubt, you have a doubt. Allow the speaker to finish and then you can ask questions. So this is the fifth point. Don't interrupt. See, if it happens to you, you will be really agitated. If you're speaking, okay, if you're speaking to your friend and your friend is always giving a hint or she is disturbing you, will you have the habit of speaking again? See, you're speaking to your friend and she is all the time poking her nose into your matters and she is not interested. Will you speak to her the next time?
No.
No,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am.
We lose interest. We will definitely lose interest. So, do understand that when your teacher is speaking in the class, understand what she is speaking. Don't ask unnecessary questions in the unnecessary places. You will be given a space to ask questions. At the time, you can ask questions. Okay. So, the next thing is wait for the speaker to pause to ask questions. As I told you, let the speaker finish his or her session. Then they'll ask you any question. Then you can shoot up questions. Then you can ask question. Ma'am, I have this question. Can you clarify me? Sir, I have this question. Can you clarify me? Only at the end of the session, you can ask for clarification. Only at the end of the session, you can ask for clarification. Okay. You should not interrupt anyone who's speaking in the meantime. Yes, the seventh one is ask question to ensure understanding. Do not ask rubbish questions or questions that does not sound good. Okay. A very genuine and a good question should be asked. Only it is necessary you ask questions. If not, need not ask questions at all. You just leave the session. Okay. At the end of the session, you can leave. Only if it is a valuable question, you can ask them. Okay. And the eighth one is understand what the speaker is feeling. Okay. He might feel like giving out his emotion, understand his emotions. Okay, when he is talking about the society, he might raise his voice or lower his voice. Understand why he is so. Okay, do not criticize them. Okay, with the voice and the feeling of the person, do not criticize them. Try to understand. Okay, try to understand what the speaker is feeling. And the ninth one is give a feedback. As I told you, always a communication comes to an end with a feedback, right? So give a feedback. So you can the feedback can be good or bad. It is not a matter. You can even give your advices in the feedback session. You can say that, sir, it was a good session, or madam, it was a bad session, or you can make changes here. Okay, you cannot deliberately say it was bad, but you can put it in a positive word. So, oh madam, this is the place where I felt bad, so you can change it. So like that you can give a feedback. Okay. And the 10th one is pay attention to what isn't said. So that is non-verbal communication. See how the speaker is standing, moving, using the chalk piece on the board, and see whether he is like having eye contact or not. He is holding the pen in a beautiful way or not. So you have to concentrate on the non-verbal cues as well, the body language. Okay. You're clear with the steps to develop active listening?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
So speaking
Yeah.
is very
Yes, ma'am.
important.
Yes, ma'am.
So
Yes, ma'am.
like another 5 minutes
Yes,
time,
ma'am.
I'll finish it with speaking skills. So what is important to you? Can you tell me out of LSRW, how many of you think that speaking is very important? Out of LSRW, how many of you feel that, ma'am, speaking is very important and I want to learn it? How many of you have this
It is very
question or
important
have
to
an idea?
improve our I want to learn it, ma'am.
Which Without speaking, we cannot convey our thoughts, right? Without speaking, we can never and ever convey our thoughts.
Yeah, ma'am.
Right? You to yes. Imagine that your mother is taking you for a birthday dress shopping. Okay, birthday shopping for a dress, and your mother is selecting a blue color dress, and you have an idea of buying a pink color dress. Without telling your mom that you want a pink color dress, will she understand? Can she understand? No, right? She won't understand.
No.
So you have to open your mouth and tell your opinion and thoughts. So speaking is very important. Okay, speaking is very, very essential for you people, not only for mandatory for everyone. You can convey your thoughts and ideas. Okay, speaking is essential. So let me conclude this with the tips to improve speaking skills. When you're speaking to someone, make sure that you maintain an eye contact. If you don't maintain an eye contact, it is understood that you are lying. Okay? So it is better to have eye contact with the person to whom you are speaking. Let it be the teacher, let it be your parents, or family members or relatives, anybody for the matter. Okay? Maintain an eye contact. When you're speaking, make sure that you're going to give a clear picture. Okay? Very clear idea. Do not speak fast. Okay, you're not going to catch any train. Okay, slow down. Do not speak fast. Okay, like singing a song and all, you cannot speak to a person. You have to be very slow and steady in speaking, and you should definitely slow down your voice and slow down the process of speaking. And whenever you feel that there should be a pause, take a pause and speak in intervals. Okay, you can take a pause. Pause is nothing but taking a breath for some time and then speaking again. Okay, by holding your breath, need not talk. You would have seen people know they'll hold their breath and they'll talk as if they're going to catch a train. It will be like that. So, people, if you really wanted to improve your speaking skill, speak slowly and steadily and take a pause whenever it is necessary. Okay, don't speak in coherence. Okay, then the next is, if you forget any word or you forgot the content, just take a breath, relax yourself, do not panic and all, relax yourself and try to minimize using filler words. Yes, hello, like that. Okay, like some filler words are there. You can use them in order to have a good speaking skill. Okay, and the next is use effective body language. Okay, when you're speaking to someone, make sure that you're not going to wave your hands, change your facial expressions. It has been said that face is the index of the mind. Whatever thought you have in the mind will be reflected in your face. So remember this concept very clearly, that if you're going to speak to anyone, do not waver your hands. Okay, make sure that you're giving attention to your hand gestures, and your facial expression is very, very important, because what is there in our brain will be communicated through the face. So control your facial expression. Okay, and then you would have seen, no, if you're happy, how your face will be, and if you're sad, how your face will be. Yes, if you're sad, how your face will be. It will be dull, right? People will ask you what happened, what happened, what happened, right? If you're happy, again people will ask you what happened, but you will have a smile, you will have beautiful look. So facial expression is very important when you are speaking. Clear? Yes. So the next one is, know what you're saying. Okay, if you're going to present a paper, okay, or introduce yourself in the class for the first time. When you come to college, this will be the first thing that you do. Introduce yourself. So prepare an outline on what basis you're going to introduce yourself. Okay, you should not give rubbish answers there. You cannot give unrelevant things there. Okay, irrelevant things and all. So make sure that you're going to give a correct answer, and that too, if you are going to speak on a prepared topic, just prepare the outline. Okay, what you're going to talk and what you're not going to talk. So know what you're going to say, prepare an outline. Okay, and the next step to improve your speaking skill is listen to recorded speeches, podcast, and try to learn new words and expressions. Okay, Like you can even listen to the YouTube videos which are in English language. If you're planning to learn English language and master English language, you should watch English movies with subtitles. You can watch recorded videos, podcast. The stories will be told by a person, so you can listen to that, and you can also learn new words out of that podcast and speeches, recorded speeches. And you can also learn new expressions. Like if it is raining, you can only say that it is raining, right? We have different vocabularies to state raining. ரொம்ப மழை வருது அப்படின்னா என்ன சொல்லுவோம்? It is bucketing down. You can learn all these expressions. Okay. If it is raining and if you want to tell your friend that it is raining, okay, அந்த தூரல் இருந்ததுன்னா you can say that it is drizzling. வெளுத்து வாங்குற ரெயினா இருந்தா you can say that it is bucketing down. Okay, so these new expressions you can learn from those speeches and videos. Okay, only when
Ma'am, I didn't hear your voice, ma'am. Ma'am, I didn't hear your voice, ma'am. Ma'am, I cannot hear you. Ma'am, I could not hear your voice, ma'am. Oh, can you please, ma'am? Cleaning, ma'am. Hmm.
Good morning, girls. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. So as
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Deepa ma'am has told you, this is from English department. Going to talk to you or going to tell you about the next two skills that we have. But before going into this session, let me tell you what is the importance of. Let me ask you questions. What is the importance of language? Why do you really need a language to communicate? Can someone answer?
Mm,
Yeah,
no one
compared to
you can share our opinions and
yeah, so basically, so language is something which you use to communicate with others, right? So without the language, we cannot express what we really think or what we have it in your mind or what are the perspectives that we possess, right? So basically, language is more important to tell others what you really want or what you really have in your mind, right? The second question, why is it English? Why do we really need English in today's world? Why do you think English is so important?
not English has become a global language and it is easier to
Charu, can you be little loud? Charu, this is Charu. Yeah, can you be little loud?
Ma'am, I'm saying that English is a global language, and wherever we go, even if we are living in India, all different states have their own languages. So it is, we cannot
Thank you, Charu, for that. So as she has pointed out, now English has become an universal language. It is a language spoken worldwide. It is one of the language we can call that as a heterogeneous language, and it has been spoken by almost all the people around the world. And even if you take India, most of the communication happens only in English. So that is the need that we have to actually master this language because we are living in a competitive world. Unless otherwise you enhance yourself with the English language, unless otherwise you improve your communication skills, and especially in English as it is a global language, it is little difficult for us to kind of survive in this competitive world. Right. So now, can someone tell me what really happened in the past 45 minutes to 1 hour? So Deepa ma'am was telling to you, talking to you about listening and speaking skill. Can someone tell me what is the gist of it? Very short, quickly, so that we can move on to the reading and the writing skill.
Ma'am, can you repeat again, ma'am?
So the question is, I just wanted somebody because she was talking about active listening. I just wanted to know how active you were to the class. So I just wanted someone to tell me what was she talking about, a gist of it, a quick summary or a quick refresh of what ma'am has told you.
She taught us how much percentage that listening, reading, writing are contributed in our daily life. And she
Right?
talked
Yeah.
about active listening and passive listening.
Good. Okay. Yeah, so somehow you got to know how important it is to have to these skills, listening and speaking, right? So apart from that, a language doesn't end with just listening and speaking. We have other two important skills that is more important in everyone's life. One is reading and the other one is writing. So that is why we call it as LSRW. That becomes the most important skills for learning or for mastering any language. It need not to be only an English language. This rule has to be followed if you really want to master any language in the world, right? So moving on to the first one, reading. How many of you really love reading?
I love reading.
I love reading,
So,
ma'am.
I
I
love
love
reading.
reading. I love.
That's really
I love.
nice. Yeah, that's really nice to look at youngsters loving the habit because many students have lost the habit of reading, and I really find happy to see you love reading. So, what kind of books do you read?
Ma'am,
Storybook.
Storybook.
Ma'am.
I would like to
I
read
like to read
like
biography.
novels,
Okay.
um, I like to read
One by one. Yeah, yes, one
non-fiction.
by one. Yes, please, one by one. So
I
somebody
like
loves
to
to read novels, somebody loves to read stories. Yes, yes, Shankari.
ma'am, non-fiction stories. I like to read, ma'am.
Okay, you love to read non-fictions. Okay, so something that talks about facts and realities. Yes, fine.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So in general, so most of you love to read. What are the benefits that you have gained out of reading?
Learning new words, ma'am.
Okay, so Josephine says, yeah, you learn new vocabulary. Yes,
Improve our learning skills, ma'am.
it improves your learning skills. Does it does? Yes.
And improving the fluency of reading some kinds of books and stories.
Yeah, so it improves your fluency, of course, not only in reading. So when you read a lot, it improves everything. You have a good pronunciation. Yeah, it improves it improves your skills. Yes. Any other things that you have gained out of reading?
Reading new things and knowledge.
Yeah, it Priya says like it gives you knowledge. Yeah, it does, of course. Yes. So now, like whatever you have said is right. A book is a gift you can open again and again. So there is like n number of wisdom that lies hidden inside a book, right? And it is books that coaches one's imagination to think big. So if you really wanted to achieve big in life, or if you really wanted to dream big in life, the main source is the book, right? Apart from getting to know the characters or apart from getting to know other factors there, it really instigates your imagination. It just triggers your imagination so that you can be highly creative, you can just think big and achieve more. And it also enriches your knowledge, isn't it? So when you're reading a book about travel, or when you're reading a book about cookery thingy, or if you're reading a book about novels, you get to know about what happens there. Say for example, if you're taking up a novel, you get to know the society that is there, you get to know the characters, you get to know the dress, the attire that they wore that time, you get to know all the emotions. Yes, isn't it? So you're getting to know a lot, you're going to enrich your knowledge if you're going to read a lot. And it also sharpens your mind. So by reading a lot, you are able to be so creative, you will have a good analytical skills, you will have a good thinking skills. So it definitely sharpens your vocabulary, and it also sharpens your mind. And it is a brain stimulating activity, because when you read, your brain becomes so active, and it just stimulates your brain to know more or learn more. And the most important benefit of reading is increasing your imagination. It just enhances your imagination. Have you ever thought that you would love to go to that place after reading a story or something like that? Have you ever imagined, visualized the setting, or visualized the place that has been described in the story or in any of the work? Yes. So I,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, so I take this as a yes, and it definitely enhances your imagination, right? So apart from all this, reading also gives you a lot of peace of mind. Say for example, if you're really troubled, if you are like restless, if you're not comfortable with something, you just take a book, sit at one corner, and just go ahead with that. That really gives you a lot of peace of mind, right? And the most important merit of reading every day is that your language and also the writing skill is going to improve, because listening and speaking is important. At the same time, this speaking can be enriched only when you have a reading habit, because only when you read a lot you will be able to understand what is being said by the speaker. Only when you read a lot can be understand when you talk, right? So you need to read to have a greater understanding of what is being spoken by the speaker, or if you want to be a real good listener, you have to read a lot. So your language and writing skill improves a lot. And it builds confidence, because as ma'am pointed out at the beginning of the session, there were few girls who found it little problematic to come out and speak. So you're confident because you don't have a confidence, or you have a stage fear to come and address the whole crowd in English. So if you're going to read every day, That builds up your confidence so that you don't have any stage fright at all, right? And it improves your memory, and it broadens the horizons of your life, because when you're reading, say for example, if you're reading a travelogue of a person, you're getting to know about different cultures, you're getting to know of the different places, their traditions, their lifestyle, their food system, food culture, right? So when you read more and more, it literally broadens the horizons of your understanding, right? And if you want to really improve your focus and concentration, because sometimes our mind is always disturbed, you will not be able to focus on something that you really love to do. But when you start this practice of reading every day, say for example, some 15 minutes or 30 minutes, say to yourself that, come on, this 30 minutes is only for reading. Let me focus, let me sit here and read. And if you are going to cultivate this habit of reading, say for some 30 minutes, your focus and your concentration will definitely improve, right? And the most important, it imparts good values, because there are a lot of books which teaches you morals, there are a lot of books which tells you solutions for the problems, that there are a lot of books which teaches you how to be empathetic towards others, how to be sympathetic, how to have good moral values in life. So books are the storehouse of knowledge, books are the storehouse of moral values. So keep reading so that your moral value is also improved. And as I have already stated in the beginning, the most or the additional benefit of reading a lot is that you can be highly a creative person, because you cannot be stagnant. You cannot say, like, you cannot be using a cliched statement. You cannot be speaking in a usual way. You have to be highly creative. That creativity develops only when you read a lot, right? And the other factor is that it improves your pronunciation. So ma'am was talking about your speaking skills, and she also made you to read certain words which was like some of you like mispronounced it. All these simple errors can be rectified while you read. So, reading not only enhances your vocabulary, not only improves your knowledge, it also corrects your pronunciation so that you can learn the proper pronunciation, because pronunciation is also an important aspect of language. We cannot mispronounce. If you're going to mispronounce, that might end up in a wrong understanding from the audience side, right? So, this helps you to improve your pronunciation. So there are a few tips and that I can tell you to improve your reading skill, and it keeps you alive, and it inspires. Books always inspires, reading always inspires, and sometimes it transforms you also. Have you ever listened to somebody who said, yeah, I read this book and it really transformed my life, right? You'd have listened to so many speakers telling this is the book that that gave me that change, or this is the book that really transformed me into a better person, or this is the book that transformed my life, right? So books are not only a storehouse of knowledge, as we mentioned earlier, it is also going to literally transform you into a better person, sometimes into a better life, right? So more reading, more knowledge should be your motto for your academic circle, inside your academic circle, right? So keep reading and keep gaining more knowledge so that you become so confident, so that you can share your ideas that you have read in your book among your friends or among your known circle, right? So how to read? How do you read basically? So sometimes if you take up a storybook, you have to read from page 1 to the last page, right? Unless otherwise, if you're going to skip in the middle, then you will not be able to understand how the story goes. But there are simple ways that I can tell you how to read a book or how to read any book. Okay? The first one is previewing, or we can call it as sampling. This is like previewing is to get a very quick feel of what the book is about. So for if you're going to shop, you want to buy a book, what do you really do? Do you sit there and read the whole book and buy? You don't do it, right? you'll just look at the flap of the book, the back flap of the book, or you just go through the reviews of the book, and you'll find out whether this is really a book or a good book to read. So you have to be wise enough to do this previewing or sampling to get what the book is about, or to get a quick feel of what the book is about, and so you can buy the book and just read it. Sometimes you can do a quick preview. So you bought the book, but you don't have time, or you have to finish reading very quickly. So you can just read the first and the last chapter to understand, and a few chapters in between. That we call it as quick preview, because so that you need not read completely. And the third is the most important, the detailed preview. So this detailed preview is what is actually needed in today's time, because you want to read, being a student you have to read everything from line 1 to the last line, right? So you have to be thorough. You have to have a better knowledge. If you really wanted to have a better knowledge of the book that you are reading, go for this detailed reading or detailed preview. That means you are reading every other paragraph, that is, you are reading every other sentence in the book, so that you are getting a complete understanding of what is being taught or what is being there in the book. Apart from this, there is another quality which we call it as skimming. Skimming can be done with newspapers or magazines. How many of you read newspapers in detail? Like not even leaving one line in the newspaper. How many of you do that? So none of you read newspapers?
I will read, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. Again, there are, yeah. Yes.
Reading,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Fine. Fine. So nice. Nice to hear that you still have this habit of reading newspaper. So now, like
I
newspaper.
read newspaper, ma'am.
Yeah. Good. 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 Good to hear. It is really good to hear from you that today's youngsters reading newspapers. Right. So now with this newspaper, there is no need for detailed previewing, because we are just going to know what has happened in the society, or what has happened in the world, or what has happened in politics or sports or something like that. Right. So here you can apply this rule of skimming. Skimming is just reading or glancing very quickly, reading it very quickly. This, you cannot apply the skimming for a book. If you're going to glance it, it is not, we are not going to get a complete understanding of what the book is about. But if you're going to read magazines, or if you're going to read newspapers, or if you're going to read some travel books, you can just follow the skimming practice. It is just, as I said, you just get to know what the book is about by reading either the contents, or by reading only the first paragraph, or the last paragraph, or you're just going through the headlines. All these can be applied to read newspapers and other words. So here in skimming, you will just look for the keywords. You don't scan it thoroughly, or you don't read line by line, or you don't go word by word. You can just look at the keywords and get to know of what it is actually there. So, as I have already mentioned earlier, don't follow this for reading books or novels or any of your academic books. This can be applied only for newspapers and magazines, and short and simple materials can be used this kind of read, right? And the major problem why people don't read, and I found, or I feel that people don't read because they struggle to pronounce a word. Most of the students that I have met so far, they don't read because they don't uh, they don't know how to read. The problem is there because many students don't have the habit of reading at all. They just, nowadays, like, it's completely different. We are into a technical world. If an assignment is given to you, you just go to a Google, just browse it, cut, copy, paste, and you finish off the assignment and you submit it. So you don't, many students don't have a habit of reading at all. Earlier it was a different scenario. Students go to libraries, sit and read, make notes. So they never found any difficulty in reading. But here in today's era, today's period, it was really difficult to find students to read with good fluency. They struck in between, or they mispronounce words. So those who are into that category, one advice that I would love to give is, don't read a sentence a word by word or a letter by letter. Try to read continuously. Say, for example, you cannot read once, imagination, or books coaches one's imagination to think big. You can go ahead, you can just connect the words and try to read. Books coaches one's imagination to think big. So this is how you have to actually practice. If you are going to stay like this, like reading word by word or letter by letter, then you don't get what the text is trying to tell you. You will not be able to understand the meaning that is there if you are going to focus on reading word by word or letter by letter, right? So this can be avoided. So reading very slowly like this or finding it very difficult to pronounce a word can be avoided if you are going to read every day. The only tip that is there to keep improving your reading skill is that you have to read every day without fail. There shouldn't be any cheat day, right? You cannot say, okay, come on, today it's like boring, it's boring, I don't have time, or like I'm already tired. Or so you shouldn't have any kind of excuses like this, or you should never have a cheat day. So the one tip that is there or that is available for you to improve your reading skill is that you have to read every day. So most of you will have a book of your interest, right? So somebody at the beginning when I questioned, somebody said I love novels, somebody said I love non-fiction, somebody said fiction. So you have your own genre, you know your own variety of book that you like. Go for it. Just take a book. Spend some 30 minutes every day. I'm talking about a practice that you have to inculcate every day from today, right? So take a book of your interest. Could be even a small short story, or could be even a children's story. Need not to be a big story with big philosophies or big morals. For the beginners, you can start with a small story. Take up a story. Sit. Focus. Tell your friends or tell your mother or your parents or your siblings, come on, I'm going to sit and read. Please don't disturb. Now this can be said, okay? So please tell your people around you not to disturb you for the 30 minutes so that you can just focus on reading and reading and reading. So read every day. Don't ever practice. Don't ever stop that. Have a schedule. Plan it. Okay, from today, every day in the evening time, I'm going to spend some time playing. I'm going to spend some time with the phone or social media, whatever you are into it. The next 30 to 40 minutes should be definitely for reading. And you should never change the schedule. Say, for example, if you're planning to read from 6 to 7 every day, the 6 to 7 is only for reading every day, not to do any other activities. Irrespective of all the other works that you have to stick on to the calendar. You have to stick on to the time on the calendar so that you are following it. And if you're going to do this reading every day, as I told you, maybe like it takes some 3 months to be a fluent reader, but not more than that. So within a 3 months time, you can be a good reader. So if you are going to be a good reader, automatically your listening and your speaking skill will enrich, because by the time you read for continuous 3 months, that is 90 days, nearly 90 days, your vocabulary would have enriched, your verbatim would have enriched, you would have greater understanding of how to create a sentence. You will have a deeper understanding of how to frame a sentence or how to talk, what sentence, what phrases can I use. All this will come easily to you when you read a lot, right? So as the other ma'am, Deepa ma'am, also kept on insisting, practice is the mantra. You have to practice this art. The reading is an art, and you have to practice it every day to make yourself a better reader, to make yourself a fluent reader, and in turn you become a fluent speaker. In turn, you also become a good writer, right? So these are like this LSRW is interconnected. You cannot just master one skill. That is impossible with any language. You have to be skilled enough in all those four that we are talking about, right? So a quick revision of what I have just told you. As I said, reading is most important because it enhances your imagination. It makes you unique. It makes you creative. It makes you empathetic towards the problems. It improves your analytical skills and thinking skills. And please do follow the tips. And I'm just going to tell you two more golden rules to read. Get addicted to reading. Normally, people say don't get addicted, but I'm telling you, please do get addicted to reading. That's the only thing that you can get addicted to in this world. So just go get addicted to reading. You cannot spend a day without reading. That's how your life has to be, right? Number two. So that is golden rule number one. Second rule, if you're starting to read anything, finish it. Don't ever stop in the middle. You just finish it. You have to be reading, you have to be a voracious reader in such a way that you're taking up a book, you're finishing it, and you're moving out of the place. So if you're going to follow these two golden rules, I assure you that after 3 months of time, you will be a great reader. You will be somebody who can speak with confidence. You will have the confidence to face even 100 numbers or more number of people, to talk in front, to stand in front of them and to talk to them confidently. Provided if you are going to follow these rules, right? So getting addicted to reading, and if you are going to start a book, you have to finish it. So for the beginners, as I have already said, you need not take up a big or a huge volume of book and sit and read. That would be really difficult because you have never practiced the art of reading so far. So for the beginners who have never done any kind of reading here or so far in your 17 years of life, apart from your academic reading, start with simple stories and make that as a practice. So, as the other teacher told you, practice makes a man perfect. So, I'm also reinstating the same thing, practice alone makes you perfect, right? So, moving on to the next one, the writing skills. So, we have already seen listening, speaking, and reading. So, the final is the writing skill. Only if you are going to master the first three skills, the writing skills becomes very important, because writing is little more difficult when compared to the other skills that we have seen already, because it is a technical skill that is used to communicate effectively. Because when you are ending up in a college, or when you are ending up in a job, you should know how to draft a letter. You should know how to present an assignment. You should know how to write an email. You should know how to write an answer for the exams. So, writing becomes again a very important skill of a language, because you are able to communicate effectively through the written word. This is recorded, right? When you write something, it has been recorded. So, you should know how to do that effectively. Clear? So now, why writing skill is needed? As I have just said, it helps you to explain yourself in a better way. Though talking, like, rather than talking or rather than speaking about yourself, your writing speaks volumes, right? And it also improves your knowledge. So when you are stopped with reading, and when you are not applying the knowledge in writing, then it is of no use. So whatever you have read, try to apply that and write something so that your knowledge keeps improving, and it helps you in expressing your views or ideas. So this is already pointed out earlier. So this helps you in expressing what you really feel. Okay, so you wanted to write something, so you feel like saying something to somebody, and you feel like a little hesitated, then you just take up a paper, write, and you can give. So this is like, it helps you in expressing your ideas or opinions, and it does also improves your vocabulary. So vocabulary comes in first when whatever you're doing, be it listening, speaking, reading, or writing, vocabulary is improved. You learn new words, you learn new phrases, you learn new terms, so that you can use new creative terms in your writing, which makes your writing very, very, very effective. So again, there will be this problem, because the other skills will be learned gradually, be it listening or be it speaking or be it reading. It just takes a little amount of time for you to improve. But that writing becomes very difficult for most of the students, because we have lost this habit of writing. No one write letters, right? Earlier we had a culture of writing letters, sending letters, passing information only through letters. Now everything comes very tech savvy, like everything is like techie. Everyone is a techie here. Just WhatsApp and that too very short messages. So this again, the art of writing is completely lost in today's world. So for the beginners, if you really find it very difficult, you have this one technique called brainstorming. Brainstorming is nothing but finding different solutions for one problem. So, for example, you're asked to write an assignment about the orientation today. So, your teacher is asking you to write a single page, one page assignment on today's orientation. So, as you had never had this practice of writing, you might get struck, or your the vocabulary would never come into your mind. It never strikes you. You do not know how to begin. You do not know how to write, or what to write, or what not to write. So when a question is given to you, there these are the questions, or these are the ideas, or these are the things that pops up into your mind. So what to write? Should I write this point? Is it right to put it in this way, or is it wrong if we say this? Should I really go ahead with this thought process? Right. So for this, you can have this technique called as brainstorming. So when a question is given to you, think for a while and you just jot down what are the important points that comes up to your mind. Never mind even if it gets repeated. So sometimes to answer this question, you might begin with saying, okay, I'm going to talk about this orientation. It was wonderful or blah, 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 blah. So sometimes after some time, the same idea keeps popping up. Never mind. While you're doing this brainstorming, just go ahead noting down, jotting down whatever comes to your mind. Right? Everything. Don't leave even a single word. Every word that comes into your mind has to be noted into a paper, and then take your time, say for 2-3 minutes, do this brainstorming, or even if 5 to 10 minutes can be used for brainstorming. After this, you just need to organize your ideas. So arrange it properly. Cut it down if it is unnecessary. You feel that okay, come on, this is I have already stated this earlier, or you find this irrelevant. Strike it off. Then arrange it accordingly, and then develop your essay. So this is a very simple step to improve your writing skill, right? And apart, see, when it comes to writing, since it is a recorded document, there are important components that you have to keep in mind, because see, listening, speaking, and reading, this reading is highly personal, because you read even if you mispronounce a word, or even if you skip a line, or even if you just omit something, doesn't matter, because you read it for yourself. And listening and speaking, somebody would definitely correct you. Say if you're mispronouncing a word, the listener would definitely say, hey, come on, this is not wrong usage, you have to pronounce this way. Right? Listening also, you can again get, if the speaker is speaking and you have just you have not listened properly, you can request the speaker to tell you again. But writing is something, if it is done once, it is difficult to change that. So there are few components that has to be remembered if you are going ahead with your writing. The first one is the grammar. So very difficult for the beginners, very difficult for somebody who finds English as a difficult language. But still, this is not something which is unachievable. This is something which is achievable. So grammar can be learned. Grammar will be easy, or you will avoid making grammatical errors if you are going to do the first three techniques properly: listening, speaking, and reading. So if you're going to follow this, then the grammar comes very easy to you. So grammar is the first component for effective writing. Second one is the vocabulary. Vocabulary, why? Because you cannot keep on using the same word again and again. If you're going to use that, then somebody who is reading your answers might think, come on, this girl haven't read properly. She's just using the cliche terms, or she's just using the same term again and again. So you can never be creative. You can never be unique in your writing, right? So to avoid that, you have to have a good vocabulary. So being a good writer, you should have a greater knowledge of all the terms in the language. And spelling, this becomes more important when it comes to writing, because making spelling errors in a language is something which is unpardonable, right? So don't ever make spelling errors. If you find any difficulty in knowing the spelling of a word, you can just go to a dictionary, refer to it, and learn the correct spelling and try to utilize that into your writing. Right? And writing also improves your sentence construction. So the other important component of writing is sentence construction. So when you keep on writing every day, you will understand, you will really see the change in yourself in the construction of a sentence. As you go, like day one, you find there are many grammatical errors in the sentences you have created. But if you are going to do it regularly every day, after say like 1 month or 2 months, you will definitely see changes in yourself, right? So you learn sentence construction also when you write a lot. Apart from that, this is also going to be an important component in writing, because you should have a proper syntactical structure. You should know how to create a sentence. You should know how to create a sentence without grammatical, without spelling error, right? And you should also know how to structure an answer, because writing demands that. It is not needed when it comes to speaking or when
Ma'am,
it comes to listening. Yes, ma. Yes, Shruti.
ma'am,
Yes, Shruti.
ma'am, I cannot understand some whatever you tell me.
You want me to repeat what I told you right now?
No, only that you told that listening that percentage and that you put. What is that mean?
That was taken by another ma'am. She was talking about how many percentage these skills was used by the people. So here I have moved on to the writing skill. I'm talking about writing skill, right?
Okay, ma'am.
So now, like continuing with the important components, so you should know how to structure a statement. You should know how to structure a paragraph. So there should be a proper introduction, there should be a proper middle, and there should be a proper conclusion. And above all this, the prime or the most essential one is the clarity of thought. You should know how clear in your ideas. So when you have to think properly, and you have to put that ideas into words properly. So the clarity is something which is more important, right? So these are some of the components that are involved in making you a better writer, or a skilled writer, or an efficient writer. So go check out your grammar. Please improve your grammatical skills. Please improve vocabulary, and please learn the spellings of all the unknown words, and maintain a good sentence construction, and also follow the structure, the rules that has to be there in writing a paragraph, right? So now again, how to write. So somehow you managed to do all this. You have learned the vocabulary, you have learned the grammar, you have learned the spelling. So you are little thorough with the language. You are little master with the language. But still, again, the questions comes. There's this question: how to write, right? So begin powerfully. You should use only the powerful words or the captivating words. You just talk about only the important. You just write about only the important things that has to be said, or that has to be passed down. So you cannot just write something unwantedly, or you cannot write something irrelevant things. Right? When you are writing an assignment, use always the catchy words, the powerful words, because the power we call it as power words. Don't go for the weak words. Use always this power words, the most power words, right? And have a captivating opening, so you can make it very captivating. The very first sentence of your answer, or the very first sentence of your assignment, can be so captivating, so that the audience who are going to read your paper would be really interested, or really enthralled to read your paper so far. So make it very clear, make it very captivating, make it very attractive, so that everybody would love to read what you have written, right? So now there should be a logical flow. So you cannot, while you are writing, say for example, if you're talking about, again, if the question is going to be the same, what is your feedback, or write an essay on the orientation program, you cannot jump from, say, okay, yesterday was this and today was this. There should be a logical flow. So you cannot jump from one idea to another idea in a paragraph. If you are making any transitions in the ideas, it has to be very smoothly done, right? So now, like A very good sentence is the basic ingredient of good writing. So if you really want to write better, create good sentences, follow all the rules I have already told you, like good vocabulary, good spelling, good grammar, and create good sentence, and that becomes the base, or that becomes the most important ingredient of good writing, right? And write clearly and concisely. That is most important, because now sometimes students keep on writing with all the conjunctions, right? And because, and like they keep on making long sentences. Writing long sentences doesn't mean that you are you have a greater knowledge or something like that. The main purpose of writing, or the main purpose of using any language, is to make the other people understand what it is, right? That is the main purpose of any language. So when you start writing, ensure that you are writing very clearly, ensure that you are writing very concisely. Concise is short. No writing long sentences or big paragraphs, or no repetition of the same ideas. This can be avoided, and this will be avoided if you are going to practice regularly, right? So as I have already said, use power words, no weak words, no everyday usages, no the colloquial terms, or the terms that is not a formal one. So use terms. For that, you have to read a lot. Again, as I have already mentioned, these four skills are interconnected or interrelated. So if you are going to master one by one, you become a great user of the language. So now again, the tips are going to be the same. Like I have told you for reading, the first tip is book time in your calendar. So every day, again, like say for example from 6 to 6:30, if you are going to sit and read something, say that 6:30 to 7, I'm just going to summarize what I have read in my own words. So you can just write a summary of what you have written, or if you don't feel like writing what you have read, you can start writing a small diary, like what are the things that you have developed, what are the things that you have done from the morning till 7 o'clock in the evening. So that is again a very beginner's level. So if you haven't had this habit of writing at all, apart from writing your assignments or apart from writing your examinations, you can start with this practice of writing your diary or a small journal. Maintain a journal, so that after many years, if you are going to flip through these journals, you might end up getting wonderful memories, right? So make time for writing. As you make time for reading, make enough time for writing also. So now, like, set small goals, tiny goals, like just 10 minutes a day. So as you are reading for 30 minutes, the next 10 minutes can be used for writing, and gradually you can increase the time. So initially, to start with, you begin with 10 minutes of your time, spend it for writing, and as time goes, as days goes, we can have this for, you can extend your time, you can expand your time for 15 to 20 minutes, then to 30 minutes, and then to 40 minutes. And if you're going to practice this is going to be really helping you forever, right? And another one is like another problem that I find among students is that when I ask them to write something, they struggle. And when I question them, like, come on, yeah, you have ideas, you have a lot of ideas, you know what to write, but still, why do you really struggle to write? The problem is that they used to think in the regional language. So if you want to write in English, you have to think in English. Only then you will be able to put those ideas as into proper words in a paper. So always try to think in English. Don't think in Tamil or any of your mother tongue and then try to translate it in English and then write. That will be little difficult because English is a very vast language. So picking up the right terms will be difficult if you are going to think in Tamil, right? Or any of your mother tongue or in regional language. So always think in English. And again, for the beginners, if you are if you think that you haven't learned anything so far, you can have this practice, like learn a new word every day. So you read newspapers, or you just come across something, or you might travel in a bus, you end up listening to a poster and a word is there and you don't know the meaning. Write it down. Come home. Go. Just flip through the dictionary. Understand the meaning and try to use that. Once you get to know the meaning of the word, try to use that word and create a sentences on your own, or try to use that word while you're speaking with others, so that the vocabulary gets registered in your mind. So when something like when you're later writing and when something related to that comes, your brain stimulates and tells, come on, there is a word for you, use this, right? So this is how you have to enrich your vocabulary. So if you're going to enrich your vocabulary regularly, like reading a word every day or learning a word every day, then your writing skill is also going to be improved very much, right? Apart from this, there are many things that we have now. Today is, like as I have said, we are actually living in a technological world. So you can play games. So if you are like, come on, I'm really bored to sit and flip a newspaper, or I'm really bored to go and learn a new word, there are many games that are there which where you can improve, which improves or which helps in improving your vocabulary. One is Scrabble. Have you ever heard of Scrabble, the game Scrabble? Is there anyone who knows what Scrabble is?
Finding words.
Yeah,
Finding words.
yeah, it is a game. It is a game to, yeah, it is a game which you can use to improve your vocabulary. So if you find it really difficult to sit and read or learn vocabulary, you have to read every day and you have to write every day. There is no change about it. But I'm talking about improving your vocabulary. If you really find it little difficult to improve your vocabulary, you can make use of all the games like Scrabble. You have a crossword. You need not even go or buy books. You just flip your paper. Every English newspaper has a crossword in it. So you can try crossword, or you can have hangman, where you can just ask your friend to think of a word and then you play the game, so that you are learning new terms. Or even you have this game word search, which you might have done in your school days. That also helps in improving your vocabulary. Your vocabulary is most important while writing, because I have already told you that you cannot reinstate the same points, or you cannot reuse the same words again and again. So, to avoid the repetition of words, it's better that you learn new vocabulary. And whatever I have said now is an example, or you can make use of this when to learn new vocabularies, right? Is it all clear with this? Have you really
Yes, ma'am.
learned something about listening and speaking and reading and writing skills?
Ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So now, like, so you have another week.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Well,
Yes, ma'am.
it
Yes,
was
ma'am.
it was really good. It was
Yes,
really
ma'am.
good.
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
happy that most of you are active
Yes,
listeners
ma'am.
here. Yeah, so I'm happy that most of you are active listeners here. And there is going to be a week's time for you to have your physical classes, and I wish that all of you follow this LSRW skills, or whatever techniques that the
Yes, ma'am.
teachers told you, and start working on it, right? Anybody can walk into the English department and tell me, come on ma'am, I have read these much books, these many books, or I have written this much. Once you come physically to this class, to the college, right? And I'm really expecting you people to come and tell me how many books you have read so far, right? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Fine.
Yes,
So,
ma'am. Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
yeah,
Yes,
thank you so much. Thank you so much. Expecting you on July 3rd, right? So, to finish off, that is, please keep this in mind. English is a difficult language, but it is not something which is unachievable. Everybody can be a fluent speaker. So, don't ever have any hesitation. Don't have any kind of panic, or don't get scared of looking at this language. It is also a language, and it is also something which can be learned if you are going to practice every day. So there is not going to be any secret, and there is no secret, or there is no magic to improve all these skills. Practice is what is actually needed. So I'm expecting all of you to practice all these skills, so that by the end of your course, by the end of you finishing this degree, whatever degree you have enrolled into, I wanted you to have a good skills. I wanted to see all of you as good communicators, right? Thank you so much, girls, for joining. And there is a feedback link that has been posted in the Google Meet. Please do fill it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, ma'am.
Thank you so much for
Thank
joining.
you, ma'am.
Please do fill the
Thank you,
form
ma'am.
without
Thank you,
failure.
ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Please do fill. Don't forget to fill
Thank
the
you,
form.
ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Good afternoon, girls.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
So we
Good
hope that
afternoon,
you
ma'am.
all had a wonderful session today. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
We are so happy that you all are so active students. Very good.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank
So
you, ma'am.
tomorrow,
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much,
ma'am.
ma'am.
you will have the third day of your bridge
Thank you,
course
ma'am.
with another interesting session. Okay. So will you all join tomorrow?
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes. So tomorrow with the same link, we will join at 10 o'clock. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Those who have not filled your attendance form, please do fill your attendance form. And also, we will be sharing a feedback link. Your HODs will be sharing the link in the WhatsApp group also. So please take time and fill in the feedback form as well as your attendance form. Your attendance is very mandate, my important students. So please fill that form. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay,
Okay,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Bye.
Okay, ma'am.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.